So today we're going to take a look at the long-awaited Mezco 112 Collective Batman, 89 Batman to be exact, Keaton Batman. Here it is after 3 years of pre-ordering, delays, and all that fun stuff. It's finally here in our hands. It's an exclusive, although it doesn't have the exclusive sticker on it. It does come in the exclusive smaller box, so there's that. But here's the back side. And then here's the other side. On the bottom of the box, you see all this information that you always get, but you can kind of see the year when this was actually made, 2020. So that's when the pre-orders went up, and they've been holding on to this thing for 3 years. I think I know why. And before we get started, I do want to give a shout out to onestoptoyshop.com. He has just recently sold out of this 89 Batman. That's how quick it's going. But if you're interested in any future releases before they sell out, he tends to have stock well after the Mezco site sells out. So I recommend you order from him, and he does offer free shipping unlike the Mezco site. So here we have our Keaton 89 Batman Mezco 112 out of the box. This is how he's packed in. He doesn't have a cape on right now, so he looks very funny. So don't judge it right off the bat, but you can kind of see the white powdery substance on the figure. It's not so bad on this one. I've seen some images where it's a lot more heavy on it, but I can definitely see it there. It really washes out the color black here. So my guess on what happened with this figure was that they couldn't really figure out how to, I guess, release it, because we've seen this prototype or this figure in prototype form multiple times, and it's gone through some changes. And if you see some initial images of the prototypes, you see the body is different, you see the sculpt is different. They had like a plastic armor at one point for the body, so it's gone through some changes. I think they've been going through trial and error. They had it ready, and then they're like, no, you can't really articulate it, it's very hindered, so they're gonna go back to the drawing board, and that's what they did. I think this is just a guess, educated guess. It's the only obvious scenario in my mind is that they couldn't get this thing articulated to the best that they could. The only way they could do it was with a soft rubberish suit like this, and maybe they started off with one that was too thick and too hard, and then you still couldn't bend it. There's some rubber seamless bodies out there that when you bend it, it really creases it and it doesn't look good. For example, the Hot Toys Thanos, that's a good example if anyone owns that. But this seems to be like the more softer skin material type of, kind of like a Fison body type of material for this suit. So it's softer, it's very squishy, and inside is a metallic skeleton type of articulation. So the articulation is super tight on this thing. It's metal inside, so it's super tight. But you can articulate it quite a bit. Now, whether or not you want to leave it like this forever is up to you. I feel like over time, this could possibly start cracking. It could hopefully not, but we'll see. Only time will tell on this one. But from what I've seen with rubber seamless bodies and skin and all that on toys, it ends up cracking over time if it's bent for too long. So hopefully that's not the case here, but of course we're going to play with our figures, and it's bound to happen to somebody, unless this is just like the solution to all seamless bodies. But we'll see. Only time will tell. But there you go, that's just my educated guess. Now, he's very powdery right now. Let's get him cleaned up. I'm going to make a separate video and showing you guys how to clean him up and make him look better, remove the powder, and have him look the way he intended to be, from the start. So we're going to jump straight to it now, and then if you guys want to see that video, be sure to check it out. It is a separate video on my channel. And just like that, we are back, and check him out. Is he already looking better? So I didn't put anything on him just because we're going to continue the review here with accessories. So first off, I'll do the cape so we can get that over with and put it on the figure. The cape is separately packed in. This is how it looks like. It's got a big old ring on the top, so it doesn't separate. You just take his head off and then you put it over and then put the head back on. So let's do that right now. So let's talk about this real quick because I noticed it off camera as I'm trying to apply it. I don't like the design of this cape here, or at least how you attach it on. You can see there's a plastic ring right there, and then everything else is stitched onto that plastic ring, and it's, at least mine, it looks like it's already coming off. It's held by a couple threads. That's very scary. Over time that could probably just break off. It probably will break off. So it's weird. On top of that, when you put it on, it literally just sits there unless it's supposed to snap in, although they don't make it real easy to snap in. So it's just sitting there right now. Then I get the magnetic head and I just put it over it. So it kind of just sits there. So it doesn't look good though. You see how it's like hovering over the cape, and this piece is hovering there. I feel like I'm doing it wrong. I think what needs to happen is that the plastic needs to snap in to this plastic neck, because there is a little bit of a ridge or a little hook here. It seems like that's intentional so it can snap into that ring, but they don't really make it easy. And I'm going to try to do it without breaking it, but I might break it. Again, here's the problem. You see all that extra, kind of sort of, all that extra soft goods cape right there inside the ring circle? That shouldn't be there. That's making it jam. It's not making the clip or the plastic ring snap to the neck, because there's so much of that. Makes me want to cut it off, but then I feel like if I do that, it's going to detach from the ring itself. But all that is getting in the way, and I'm unable to get it to click into his neck at all. So as you see, this is how it's meant to sit. It's very flush to it. It's all connected. This plastic piece, there's even a little divot or a little slot here, so the collar piece slides right into that. Everything is perfectly. Now I had to do some modifications, and do this at your own risk. I'm not telling anybody to do this, but as you can see, the threading is torn off on the back end. I had to cut some of that excess fabric that was covering the inner side of the collar here on the back side. I cut it, and that detached the threading from the back side. Now it's still connected in the front too, so it shouldn't fall off at all from the front. But keep in mind that now mine is torn from the back, and that's the only way I could get it. And even doing that, it took some force, but I finally got it to snap in. You can see it's both sides are snapped in, and the back side is snapped in right there. Hopefully you can see that. I know the lighting's kind of crazy, but that is how it's meant to sit on the neck, and that was a pain in the ass. So now that the cape is properly attached, you can see that the head sits properly on the body. The neck collar piece is flush with the cape as it's supposed to be. There is no gap at all, no hovering of the head. So that is right there the exact issue that everyone is going through, because not everyone is snapping the cape into the neck piece, the cape collar ring into the neck, how it's meant to be, and thus why you're getting the hovering head effect that everybody is seeing or displaying their figure with because of that. Now that is a huge pain in the butt. We shouldn't be going through that much of a hassle. I just ripped my cape. I just had to cut up my cape, took off some threading, and it's half detached for it to properly fit on there, so I shouldn't be going through that at all. But nonetheless, once you get it done, here it is. It looks pretty darn good. Here he is with the head with the blood on it. So he comes packed in with the head with the googly eyes, I guess you can say. It's got the little divot here on the back side where you can articulate the eyeballs, which is something new from Mezco. Never seen them do that before. It's really cool. I like it. I dig it. You can have him look to the side. You can see right there, and you can have him look to the other side right there. Now he's looking to the right, now he's looking to the left, or you can make him look forward. He almost looks like he's cross-eyed right now. So this is the funny face, I guess. Then we also do get a regular head, but with the mouth kind of opened a little bit there. Now these head sculpts are fantastic, I must say. Very happy with the way they look. Head sculpt looks spot on. They look like mini Hot Toys, if you ask me. That looks like Michael Keaton. So great job on the head sculpt. They had to nail this because this was 3 years in the making. Took forever. So let's take off this one and put on the regular head sculpt here. And here he is with the regular head sculpt right there. Neutral face and fantastic. I love it. Look at that. That looks great. Again, sitting flush with the body and the cape. No hovering at all. No gappage. Beautiful. This is how it's meant to be displayed, or it's how it's meant to look. So fantastic. Alright, so here's a full body shot of him with the cape. The cape has been a topic of controversy as well. A lot of people dislike it. I can see how it is articulated. It's got the bendy wires almost at every seam here, but it's still pretty difficult to get it posed at a natural state or just straight down. I'm sure over time you can get it posed like that with all the bendy wires. But it is brand new out of the box. It looks fine. You're just going to have to play around with it quite a bit. And I do have him tipped forward a little bit right now so he can kind of look like he's looking straight on, because he does kind of tend to look up like this because of the fact that his neck is not articulated, but you just got to finagle it with the torso there, bending it forward, and then you should be able to get him to look pretty good for some shots with a camera or video. So yeah, there's your look at him. Enough looking at him. He looks great now that the powder's off, now that I figured out the cape and that the head isn't hovering. It looks just like we were anticipating it to look. Again, here's a closer look at the figure, at the head sculpt. That looks great to me. There is the bat logo on the torso, which is attached to the cow headpiece. Again, a look at the rubberized, soft, squishy body. It is textured, and then you can see the texture on the cape. And there's the boots right there. Here is the backside. Here's one more look at his separate head sculpt super up close. You can see all the detail and the likeness there. And then last but not least, we have the funny eyes, or the rolling eyes here, so you can have them look to the side there. Super dope. Look at that. I love it. Great head sculpt. Some of the best Mezco has made, I'd say. Alright, so we are going to run through his accessories fairly quickly here. Looks like we have an attachment to his grappling gun right there. We also do get a collapsed version. Here is a bendy wire grapple hook to attach to it. We also do get just the hook right there separated as a separate piece. We get a ninja star. Here is a dart of some kind. We also do get a total of 4 batarangs, so 4 of these exact batarangs. For the hands, we get his fisted hands that are already on the figure out of the box. Then we get these grabby hands that you can grab onto some of his accessories here. We get a pair of open hands, and we get another pair of open hands, but this time they're a little bit more spread apart. We also do get another batarang with a bendy wire attached to it. We can't forget about this thing here. This does go around his arm. And then last but not least, this is somewhat of a surprise, but we get a spare cape. This time it is not bendable, so this is just soft goods. No bendy wires anywhere in case you don't want one with the bendy wires, but this is great because if yours breaks around the ring area here, then you have a spare to use, and that's awesome. Alright, so with this figure, articulation is there, like more so than we thought. We all thought he was going to have single jointed elbows and knees, but he actually bends quite a bit because of that metallic, or that, not metallic, but metal skeleton. His arms, this is going to be kind of difficult. I don't want to mess up the cape or have his head pop off, but the arms will bend more than a 90-degree bend, which is great. Goes back down, you can go in and out. You can see how the head starts to pop off a little bit, but it still sticks on. The magnet is pretty strong, so it's still flush to the body. It tilted a little bit there, but it didn't come off. So you can see the arms stretch out. Then we have the arms. The arms do go forward. I'm being extra careful because, again, this is a rubberized body with a metal skeleton inside, so you know, it could rip, it could cause some tears or whatever. It could cause it to pinch a certain way. I don't want to ruin it. Torso does bend forward and back. It's super tight. It feels like it doesn't, but it will bend forward, it will bend back, it will twist as well. Push it to the limit that you feel the most comfortable with. Again, I'm not going to kill my figure. Legs feel super tight and scary to go forward. Again, do it at your own risk. I'm not going to kill it right now. So I think you can go forward more, but it's super tight. I don't want to break this thing. I've had a metal skeleton inside of a rubberized figure before break on me, and it's not a pretty sight. It's terrible. So you don't want to go through that. In and out, let's see, on the legs, I'm going to go this far, and that's about it. I'm not going to push it any further. As far as the knees, they do bend all the way back. They go forward. We have a boot cut shin swivel, ankle hinge at the foot, and ankle rocker as well as a swivel too at the ankle. And here he is next to the Christopher Reeves Superman Mezco 112 collective figure. In case you wanted to see them side by side, I think they look pretty cool. Then here we have a comparison next to a comic book version of Batman. This is the Supreme Knight version of Batman, to be exact. Alright, so this video has gone long enough. I'm going to go ahead and end it here. 3 to 4 years in the making here for this release, and I think this is a pretty damn good figure. I really cannot complain too much, other than the fact that I had to spray it down, wash it down, and then thoroughly cut part of the cape off so I could get it to snap in. But once it's all said and done, man, it looks great. It really does look good. It's definitely the best Michael Keaton 112 scale I think. I mean, I don't have the NECA version to compare it to. If there is a NECA version, right? That goes to show how much NECA I really collect. But I don't have that to compare it to. I know a lot of people were leaning towards that side once they saw the initial images of this figure, but now that we see how he really looks, is that still the case? You know, for me, I like the way this looks. I'm pretty happy with it, and I think this was the best way they could really manage to release this figure while not sacrificing too much articulation, because the Fison body, or the however you want to call this rubberized squishy body, was really the only way you could pull off the articulation on the figure without you know, ruining the design, without having horribly looking rubber bending, without having plastic hindering it in any shape or form, unless you make the entire figure plastic like SH Figure Arts did. But this is Mezco, and they're not going to do that, right? We're all about the soft goods and the actual materials here, not just the plastics. So, yeah, I think they did the best they could, and the delays were warranted, because I can assure you that it was due to the fact that the figure just wasn't looking right the first or second attempt, maybe. So, anyways, I'm dragging this on too long at this point. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section, and while you're down there, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Be kind, be well, be positive, and as always, I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.